John.
Beth.
Garden party
Yeah.
at Dave Granati's studio.
Maplewood studio here in Ambridge.
Maplewood. It's beautiful here.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
You and Dave have done a beautiful job with the garden.
Yeah, we're going to show some before and afters. We did that about a year and a half ago.
Okay, great.
And, here we are with an Italian guy, and the place needed some love.
Some TLC.
Yeah. So today we'll talk about gardening.
Great.
Of course, music and food. 3 great things, a little bit of wine. And we're going to feature 2 great artists today, the Granati brothers.
Of course you have
Pittsburgh
to.
legends.
Yes, for sure.
And new music from the Jaggers.
I can't
gonna be a
wait
great
to
show.
hear.
Stay with us.
Stay tuned.
Hey, Beth.
Hey, John.
Say hello to David Granati.
Hi, Dave Granati.
Beth, how are you, baby?
Nice to see you.
I've been practicing. You.
So, David, we're going to get things right off started on the right foot with, we've got some yummy food here that you've created.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
us what you're serving us here for lunch.
Well, first of all, we have a very nice.
It's a little Dago Red.
No, this is
Okay, that's good.
a Pinot Noir.
Pinot.
And just
Okay.
a bit for the lady. Just a bit.
Just
go
a
to
splash.
drive.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got
Yeah, and
yours?
this is from last year. So we'll have a toast.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys coming out today. Is that in the way there, Mr. Jim? We good? Good. Salud.
Salud.
And we are in Pittsburgh, and Jim's at the helm, so Nostrovia. Oh, man.
Oh, that's very
Wow.
good. Did you make that?
I made that.
And that's
Wow.
a Pinot.
That's a Pinot Noir. Okay,
That's
now,
wonderful. Now,
next
what about our meal?
Well, first of all, we have to pray.
Absolutely.
Okay. Nome Padre, del Figlio e del Spirito Santo, Signore. Grazie per il buon mangiato, le buoni amici. I say thanks for my good friends and the good food.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen. My grandmother's smiling right now.
All right.
Okay. Most of the time in America, you eat the salad first, but in Italy, it's not. You kind of eat them in tandem, but there's usually like a meat dish, kind of like this. This is minestra. That's potatoes,
Okay.
beans, sausage, peas, almost everything out of the garden. So,
Right, you're a major vegetable gardener, right?
yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I gotta try this.
There's another very special type of gardening that I like, beer gardening.
Dave, that sausage is out of this
Isn't
world.
that good? That's a little
Got
trick
so
I
much
do.
kick.
What do you do with that sausage?
I buy it loose, and it's from Saffron's Market in Sewickley.
Wow.
And I buy it loose, and I cut it with a spatula, so I don't have to touch it. See, the skin is like the worst thing on sausage,
Right.
and it holds all the fat in. So this is basically like a sausage tender. Throw it on the grill, it cooks up nice, clean. Isn't that perfect?
It's wonderful.
Delicious.
No,
So then
I-
it cooks all the fat off?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, because my body's a temple. The temple of doom. It's like when a girl thinks a weekend with me is going to be like a day at the beach. I say, it is. Normandy Beach.
I love it.
Tell us about this salad.
Okay, ensalada. This is all out of the garden. Yeah.
All of it.
Yep, tomato, a couple different types of lettuce. The one tomato was a gift from Rich Angler, who, by the way, has a wonderful documentary out. Have you guys seen it yet?
I've heard about
Yep.
I've heard.
Behind the stage door or something like that. Let's give
It's
Rich a
a,
plug on that
It
one.
was an heirloom tomato that he gave me. And then there's just regular cherry tomatoes, of which I have a ton of. Yeah, the bigger ones, the heirloom.
What's the spice in here?
It's a combination, kind of Italian, Greek, and Asian. I take the lemon from the Greeks, and they like a lot of oregano as well. And you're tasting a lot of basil. Were you talking about the minestra or,
Yeah, well,
or the
there's a
salad?
The
salad
salad. The
dressing.
salad has a lot of spices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the fresh basil makes it.
Yeah. Remember, we were talking about basil with Vinny from Italy.
Cousin basil.
Well, no, one of our first podcasts was at Frankstown Gardens in Penn Hills. Vinny Tuminello.
Yeah.
He had basil brought over. A customer of his brought him over from Italy,
Right?
and Vinny's been.
It's a curly leaf basil.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
Beautiful, Dave. The leaves are like this big, and they just.
We'll try to get
It's
me
wonderful.
a plant.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
We'll get you
chefs
some.
recommend. Put a little bit of cheese.
I'll get you some seeds,
Yes, please.
because I saved this.
This
Yeah.
is chili garlic here. Take a whiff of that.
Oh,
That'll open up your sinuses.
Let me
This
smell.
is just dried chili and dried
Wow.
garlic. Have you guys ever eaten at Cambodican in Southside?
No.
A wonderful Cambodian American. This is what they put out instead of, you typically in an Asian restaurant you have oil, like chili oil. This is dry and you toast it with a wok or a black skillet. And I add it to everything. It's wonderful.
It's just this is out of
Yeah,
this
see, right
world.
there. This is the
Nice
first
treat.
time Miss Clausen has graced us by eating with us. Usually you come here and you're singing and you can't eat.
yeah.
I don't eat
But
when
no
I sing.
singing today.
No, we're just enjoying
Well,
our
we
visit.
have glory, but no singing today. Won't be singing today.
So, Dave, we've talked about wine. We've talked about this
God.
beautiful. We've praised the
Spread.
Lord, and we've
For
got
the
this beautiful
familia.
food.
Yeah.
So, this is your studio. This is home base. How long have you been here?
I've been here 25 years.
Wow.
25 years.
20,
you were-
23 years.
But
Yeah.
you've been an engineer and a producer in the studio
I
much
go
longer
back
than that,
as
right?
far as our fearless videographer, Jim Pitulski. I go back as far as when you had that little tape recorder that your mom bought you and that had the on-off switch. And you would turn it on when the batteries were going low. You would record it and play back fast. So you figured out, well, God, if you just went in and put your finger on there and slowed it down. And this was roughly at the same time the Beatles were doing what was called flanging. This is a great story. So in those days, they used to typically double every lead vocal. You hear like all early Beatles, the lead voice is always doubled, which means it's going to take you twice as long to record. So John Lennon, who was not technical at all, asked like the layman's question, well, you have all this equipment, couldn't you just record it twice? And Jeff Emmerich, the engineer, said, well, it would just be the same thing. He said, well, make it not the same thing. Okay, so quite simply put, so he figured out if you put it on another tape machine and played them back together and purposely made them not right in sync, okay, but then it was just like a fixed variable. So he figured out if you put your finger on the flange of the tape, slow it down, then it would speed back up. That's how you get that warbly, the end
Yeah.
of Tomorrow Never Knows, that type of sound, and hence the term flanging.
Huh.
And then they come in and they say, well, let's do it a little bit more sophisticated. So Studer gave you a speed control on
Wow.
their glorious tape decks. And so you could just speed it up and slow it down.
Well,
So
this-
anyway, we were basically doing the same thing with these little tape recorders that my mom bought me. And my cousin Tony got one. He's the drummer for the Granati Brothers. He got one for Christmas, and so did I. And we figured out if you did sound effects on one and then recorded on the other, you basically could do multi-track. So we were like 12 years old. It would have been 1969, maybe 1970.
Yeah.
Pretty hip.
Yeah.
Pretty,
So
And
you've always
I've
been
been recording that long.
right. You've been of the Granati brothers. You've been the more technical guy,
Yes.
right? You've
Yeah.
been the engineer
Yeah,
and the
that's
producer,
pretty common in most bands, like the guitar player, because they're used to tweaking amps and
right?
echoes, and Jimmy Page being a good example,
Right.
Yeah.
Tom Scholl being an excellent example.
Sure.
Well, this
sure.
seems
Not
like
a
a
good
great
example as a human, though. Oh,
a great
man.
place to take a break and
Yep.
listen to some music. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Some new music from the Jaggers
Love it.
and some Granati brothers.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
I'm not the Walla.
When I lived a lie, living on the run. I was in denial and a jive talking son of a gun. My eyes saw no rhyme or reason. Skies were gray, no matter what the season, till you showed me the way back home to the sunny days. I needed to know with you, you're the one that I'll never stop loving, never when we lose. Faith be your guide. You won't be.
Welcome back. We're here with Dave Granati and John Vento and myself, Beth Clausen. It's so good to be here with you
Yes,
guys.
fun stuff.
Continue your story, Dave. You had some
well,
interesting.
firstly, though, after hearing that, have I made any progress since I've come beyond those two
I
little
think
think
you
so.
have.
quarters?
Yeah.
I think so.
The evolution was wonderful. Then we got a 4-track T-Act that everybody had, the 3340S. Great machine. And then we did the 80-8 was 8-track. And we would make these wonderful basement recordings. We got 3 different record deals based on stuff that we did in the basement.
Wow.
And every time it was the same. We would go and try to recapture it, and the fidelity was better. Like we went to the Hit Factory, went to Criteria, a number of great studios, but it didn't have the feel, the spirit.
Yeah.
And this is real common. That's why Led Zeppelin would take the Rolling Stone mobile unit. So this works totally into my lifestyle because, you know, we're pretty food based, as you can tell. So this way we could still take care of the garden, you know, take care of my mom and dad, you know, as they
Yeah.
got older, and we still have the family home, which I'm going to turn into a bed and breakfast recording studio.
Fantastic.
I love that.
But that's basically what we have here. So it's so
And
the
now
gar-
you're
the-
digital. Now you're Pro Tools.
Yeah, I got
right?
full-blown Pro Tools. I still have quite a lot of my analog gear and the analog mindset.
Yeah.
And I have all the gear. Yeah, I got the Ludwig drums. I got
And one of the great things with you, I can say as one of your customers, creating music is because you're a great musician, a producer, and a creative person, somebody who maybe isn't a guitar player or maybe they're not that accomplished can come in and create original music right by your side. And you have a few clients like that,
yeah,
right?
and I use it as part of my teaching. My students, as they progress and get more advanced, it becomes more of a recording and engineering lesson. But it's great too because I've basically recreated what I had at the house, the garden being a key part
Sure.
of it. Because as you know, and everybody's heard this story, that's how John Vento and me started our musical relationship over food.
Over food.
And currently, my girlfriend Peggy and I every Sunday make spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, and the kids come and they see the progress in the garden, and some of them even come and help me pick stuff.
Yeah.
And we sit down and we have Sunday dinner because I teach on Sunday. We take a break, go wash your hands. If you don't wash your hands, you don't eat. And everybody prays together. And this is, they're experiencing Sunday dinner. And some of these kids have never had that.
Right.
I have some kids from broken homes, some foster kids, increasingly number of people on the spectrum,
Right.
thanks to you guys.
And that's for those about the Rock Academy.
Yeah, we get
Why don't
together.
you tell us, or please tell us more about that program that you launched?
Yeah, I started. I taught at Lincoln Park when they first started their guitar program, and we had a thing that we called School of Rock, like a lot of people did after seeing Jack, who should thank God every day for that role.
Yeah.
It was like
I mean, Jack
Jack Black.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was made for that role,
Yeah.
and they lost funding for that. It was a extracurricular. It wasn't part of their. So I started it here 13 years ago. And we have a very successful turnout every time, and we do benefit work and do stuff like what we did at the last Blues and Roots Festival.
Yep.
I'll coach a band, and food's always a big part of it. And I just love the whole concept of the garden is because every day you see progress.
Right.
Okay, then at the end, as it's starting to dwindle, a lot of people get depressed in the fall. But man, now it's harvest time. So
Right.
like, for example, we're enjoying some wine that is at its peak that I made a year ago. So instead of getting depressed about the winter coming, you start, you know, this is time honored. I mean,
Yes,
since
it
the
is.
beginning
It
of
is.
man, people, you have to preserve food for the cold, winter months. So they're learning this whole concept, this whole way of life, and it's very family oriented and faith based. On
So
my
it's not
end.
just music. You're impacting young people in their
And
lives.
this is exactly what they're not learning in school, and it's not getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
The low scores For whatever reason, the test scores continue to drop every year, and plus, like self-pride, a lot of kids are depressed.
Yeah.
Oh, they
And
sure
a lot
are.
of times it's a diet. They're eating terrible food, bad eating habits, bad food consumption, gorging, or sometimes, we've all done it when you had to get some computer work done, okay, and you're hungry, and I always have snacks there, and it's really hard not to start grabbing the chocolate and the
Right.
and the chips
Doritos,
and stuff.
right.
And for a lot of kids, that's like a lifestyle. So
Sure
we're
is.
trying to get them out of that. And one of my best success stories is a girl named Naya, who her and her brother were going through the foster process, and it was really burning both of them out, and they were both kind of bitter. And one day she came out, she went, "Oh my God, what's that?" She looked at the salad. I said, "Did you ever have a salad?" She went, "No, that looks terrible." I said, "Well, try it." She went, "Oh my God." So I taught her how to make it.
Yeah.
And now every time I see her, she's grown up now. She says, "I still make that salad just like
Isn't
that."
that wonderful?
That's fantastic.
So that's a good lead in for your vegetable garden.
Yeah, let's
Because
hear
Dave's
what
a
you're.
great, yeah,
I
what
know.
what you have in the garden this year?
Well,
What do you
The
have in the
vegetable
garden?
garden.
Well, one of the key things is these beans that look like long green beans. They're actually purple on the vine. It's they're hard to find. I found them on Amazon a couple years ago. I was all fired up. I built this nice trellis and everything, and they sent me these bush beans. They were like, it was like somebody saying, "Hey, I'm going to take you to a great Italian restaurant," and you look up and it's the Olive Garden. So anyway, it was a big letdown. Unfortunately, my oldest living relative in the States is 95, former U.S. Marshal Frank Policaro. I knew he would have them. I said, "Do you have any of those beans?" And I got a whole jar of them. So, of course, in the Italian community, this is a form of currency, so to speak. If I take him a bottle of wine, he's going to give me a superset and a big jar of bean seeds. So anyway, I don't know if you're going to do any shots of that,
Yeah,
but
we
you
will.
can see I have a buttload of them coming.
What
Yeah,
what
they're
kind of bean
beautiful.
is what's that
It's
called?
called Roman beans,
Roman beans.
but they're mainly used by the Calabrese, like more in the southern region, because we're the cooks. Yeah. We're the ones that make the sausage and the wine and cook. I mean, they do that all over Italy, but
Yeah.
the further up north you get, the more they frown on that. And it's basically, they look at us like we're hicks, because we live in the mountains.
yeah.
But we outgrow them and we outlive them. And the town that my family's from is called Cedizano, and it means healthy cheeks. Healthy cheeks.
You've got them. You
So
got a
we see
little
some-
pink in those cheeks.
I got
We
them
see
from my
some
mom.
tomatoes in the garden. So you had the Roman
Yeah,
beans.
pomodoro, yeah, the fagioli.
You got two types of tomatoes, right?
Yeah, a couple different. I had this interesting phenomenon, what Bob Zigarelli referred to as volunteers.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of things grow back from last year that I didn't plant. I do a number of different greens, colored greens, mustard greens, and my personal favorite's Swiss chard,
Yeah.
which is great in wedding soup.
Which we've enjoyed in
Yes.
M&S.
And
Absolutely.
I make pancakes with it too, and zucchini, and I don't get too many zucchini because I come and steal the flowers.
I was going to say, zucchini take a lot of space. I
Yeah.
mean, your garden, it's not super, super big. I mean, do you find that you have enough space
Well,
for
you know what
the
I did?
zucchini?
I planted the stuff that spreads on the outside of the fence.
Ah.
John Vento, who did this lovely landscaping, put that fence is wonderful because everything wraps around it naturally, the tomatoes and the beans.
The fence serves as a trellis.
Yeah.
It serves as a trellis,
And
but it
a
also keeps
yeah.
the groundhogs
Yeah,
and
some of
the
the critters,
deer
yeah.
and the.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
But and these types of cooking, and especially the zucchini flowers, is all available in our cookbook. It's recipes that rock.
That's
so-
your cookbook.
Yes.
We'll have producer Jim put some information up on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
It's a
we
great
mainly
cookbook.
Joey was known as the cook. He's a gourmet cook, and unfortunately he's not really doing a lot of cooking currently. But all the recipes are in there. I put all the old world ones like wine, my grandmother's bread recipe, which is identical to Mancini's. Flour, water, salt,
And yeast.
and yeast.
It's simple.
No sugar. Do you ever
Yep.
notice you could take a piece of bread like that and it'll sit for 2 or 3 weeks before it molds?
Yeah.
You get anything with sugar in it, within a week you got mold.
Right.
And if you look at your body, we don't need more mold.
No, we don't.
True.
We don't need more
Very
sugar
true.
either.
So I'm looking at your flower garden here. I see a lot of John, the Russian sage, and the grasses, and the sedum, the beautiful hibiscus back here. What's your favorite?
But the beans.
Of course.
Wrong answer.
No,
Well-
the hibiscus is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it bloomed several times. I
Yeah.
thought it was done, and
Yeah.
it came back like after a good rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the wonderful thing about plants, and you guys all know this because you're in tune with the earth. Things that typically depress people, like rain. Oh, I hate rain.
Oh no.
God, I
Gardeners
love rain.
love rain.
Actually, when it
Right.
rains, you got all the negative ions. Okay, so everything you're more at peace. It's harder to sing, as you know. But man, the next day it's like the big reward. It's like that's why you never doubt God. Hence the rainbow. Which you're seeing after a storm.
Right.
Very similar. You come out the next day and everything's fresh, and it's like the garden. Thanks God, I needed that.
Yeah, and this was tricky because there was a home here. Dave lost his home to a fire years ago. And what they did is they filled in this whole
Because
plot.
I had a basement.
He had a basement. It's
so
filled
they-
in with rocks and bricks and debris.
So there was a home here?
Oh,
yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah, he
Oh,
lost it all
okay.
in a fire.
Oh my God.
Fortunately,
Victorian
though,
Tower.
you didn't lose the studio, the mirror, the garage, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're gonna show some before photos, but this was basically just a piece of grass.
Wow.
Oh man, it was always a pain to keep it cut, and it was uneven, and so I'd get a weed whacker out, and Kathy Stewart, my partner in the academy, is a real redneck. She can drop a transmission in a car and stuff,
She's great.
And, okay, so I'm over there trying to fish. I don't know about you guys. Weed whackers befuddle me.
I hate 'em.
Yeah, you can never get that thing threaded right. And she's over there. Where'd you ever? Because she's an avid fisher, so she comes over. I'm like, okay, play me a flatted 13 chord. Yeah, I love when people do that. If they're an expert in one thing and you don't know anything about it, that would be like you saying, okay, sing an aria.
Right.
Like to your auto mechanic when they make you feel stupid.
Nope.
But anyway, Kathy is a very good part of our academy.
Yep.
It's nice having the woman's touch, especially we're dealing with a lot of kids, boys and girls, different styles, and now like different gender issues as well. And she's very good with it. Just an old school, great teacher. She's got a degree from Duquesne, and so does Julie. So I have 2 girls that work with me, and both have Duquesne degrees.
That's fantastic.
So back to the garden.
Yes.
He wanted to get rid of the grass. That's the key.
Who also wanted to get rid of grass?
You did.
Me.
Yeah.
I have
a lot
no
of people.
grass.
A lot of people.
Oh, he
None.
hooked you up too.
No. I
we-
did this long before
No,
John.
this was before
Oh,
he met her.
okay. I haven't been to your
But
place yet. I hear
he,
about your porch parties.
The
Porch
grass,
concerts,
the grass beside the maintenance, the cutting,
Yeah.
it's a pain in the ass.
And you're running the lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
It's not great for the environment.
In the winter, it's
Yep.
slippery, and he's got to
I
shovel
do
through
have to
the
give
grass.
you a fun story related to the grass and the academy. I got one of those green old push mowers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would leave it out here on Sundays, and all the kids would go, "Oh no, let me do it!" And then I'd have a contest, and they're out there, and I'd get my grass cut. And the one guy said, "Granati, I got to hand it to you. I'm paying you $40 for my son to come."
Cut
Mow
your
your
grass.
grass.
Because they probably never saw such an ancient thing.
Right.
Oh, they loved it.
Oh, I'm sure they did love it.
Yeah.
Especially if you make it
I
as
don't
a
miss it.
competition, right?
You sure? You
I
sure you don't want your grass back?
No,
Yeah.
I don't want my grass back. I love it here. Oh, I got to tell you how many people walk by and compliment. And one lady wanted, is this a restaurant? Because Peggy and me were out here eating. I said, I guess in a manner of speaking.
You know, with the way we created the walkway.
The walkway, yeah.
So,
Oh, in fact, we're going to be doing an open house in October when we start our next session, and you guys are cordially invited.
Well,
So
thank
you get
you.
to meet current, future, and past students,
good.
and you get to see that some of them are grown adults now. I have one band that's out on tour.
Isn't that wonderful?
Wow, that's
And,
fantastic.
Yeah, 4 of the guys that are in this band came through my studio.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, it's been quite a visit. What do you think?
I have really
We've
enjoyed
covered
our
a
time
lot
here.
of ground.
A lot of ground.
Lot of
Food,
ground.
vegetables,
Wine.
flowers, Dave's fantastic studio.
God,
of course,
yes.
God. And all the work that you're doing with the kids and the community and the community of musicians that come here to record. You're doing God's work for sure.
Amen. I know. I love when people say, "Boy, that's great what you do for those kids." I'm like, what about what they do for me?
Boom.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Marcello will attest to this. If you have a problem with an iPhone or an iPad, you never ask an adult.
Yeah. Oh,
You go
no.
get a 10-year-old. Oh, it's easy.
Well, brother, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes,
appreciate
thank you
it.
for cooking with
Eat every
for
carrot and
us.
pea on your plate.
We shall. And guys, we're signing off. And what do? We want them to check out our website.
Check out our website at jbgardenparty.com. Check out our YouTube channel. Click and subscribe. Boom.
I'll do that
and-
today.
And ding the
Please,
bell.
and ding the bell, and look us up on all of the online audio podcast sources that are out and about.
All those platforms.
And it's been another wonderful, wonderful podcast, and having this great guy join us today was a lot of fun.
Thank
Fantastic.
you guys, man.
All
Well,
right, man.
then thank God for doing the lights.
Beautiful weather, yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
everybody.
no special effects, oh Lord.
Thanks. Take care, guys.